What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the Acura Audio Garage. So today we're going to be looking at this new Android radio that came out for the Acura TL. This is from 2004 to 2008. I'd say this is a 10-inch screen and you have your climate control on the sides. It looks very good. It integrates into the factory radio. So we're going to do a first impressions video. This isn't a review, just first impressions. I'm going to show you how to get it hooked up, how to get it working, and then we'll go over some of the quirks that I've noticed so far, and then I'm going to take some time to really look at the product and give you my honest feedback and all the things that I've learned along the way. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to know is where I got it. So AliExpress, it was $351. Here it is. I'll throw this link down in the description of the video. Second thing is how much I paid for it. It was $351, and you can see it's going to probably take about 2 to 3 weeks to get it. Now let me show you what came with it. So you got a bunch of harnesses. You can see all over the place, but no instructions. I did reach out to the person who provided the product and went, hey, I kind of understand where everything goes, but do you have an instructional manual? And this is what they sent me. So I have this picture which identifies everything and then tells you where everything goes. I'll include this link in my description, and then I have this picture as well. There is some conflicting information in here, but ultimately it'll get the job done. What I will tell you is we break down our information by year and trim. So if you have a 2004 with navigation, or you have a 2006 with navigation, or you have a Type S, they're going to go low model and high model. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this one says original car model without display screen, and then this one says original vehicle model with display screen. So they're talking about the navigation. But here they're going to call this low-end models, even though they do have this is for a navigation one, and then they're going to call this a high-end model, which is 0708. So if you have 2004 to 2006, low-end models, what they refer to. You have 2007, 2008, they call it high-end model. And the reason why that matters is because of the wiring. So let me jump into that. This is what's going to plug into the car. This is what's going to plug into the car. Then your original XM connection will go back in here. The original antenna will go back in here. And you could see these plug into there, and this one plugs into there. Now, if you're wondering what comes off of here and into here, I'll give you a quick breakdown. So your subwoofer and your center speaker run to here. So look, so they don't pass through. They're on this edge, and they're generated from this. So you're sending a high level output to your factory amplifier. Haven't really found it to be a problem yet. It does get loud, but it doesn't distort, but we'll have to meter this to see if it's going to do some damage, but I expect that it will. But as long as you're not blasting it, I don't think you'll have an issue, but more of that in our future review. Then here, your steering wheel controls are going to be this green wire right on this edge, and that goes to this. I'm also going to put screenshots of what these translate to. Is just high end and low end, and then the year. But that's it for the factory side of wiring. Then for your climate, you have these two connections, and these are going to be CAN bus or B-CAN connections and your HVAC connection. So these have to be made in order for your climate information to work. This will operate your climate with these buttons and then display the information on the screen. But in order to display that information, you need a CAN bus box adapter, and that comes with this kit or this tablet. So you need to make sure you plug this in. It has a big pigtail on this side, little pigtail on this side, and this is going to come on, I think, this harness already put together. Then the other connection that might trip you up is this little one that goes up here. Make sure you make that one. Then here you have the main power and speaker one, so just make sure you plug that in. This I don't see the point of. It's the output from the factory radio to here. It must be doing some sort of calculation. I'm not sure yet. These are my CAN bus communications. We have 2 USB and our backup camera. This does come with the ability to run a sub. So instead of using this here, you hook this here, and this will control, this has a built-in fan. So it'll give power to the built-in fan, and then also give you subwoofer out and left and right out. It has aux in, which is, we'll talk about that later on, but this is supposed to be used with the 0708 wiring. Cover that in a second. But in your 04, 05, 06, you can use it still to run subs. It only has one subwoofer out, but that's usually pretty important for people. And then it does support an external microphone. There's an external microphone in the box. Where is it? Right here. But this does have a microphone right here on the front that you can use as well. But alright, so that's going to cover 0405 wiring. Get a good look. This is how you're going to have to set it up, and then everything else should just plug in the car, and I'll walk you through that when we get there. Alright, now if you have an 0708, the connections are different, so pay attention. These are the ones that are going to plug into the car side. So you're still going to have the same 20 pin as before, then you're going to have a 40 pin, then you're going to have your antenna. This just intercepts signal and it gives you an RCA out. So this is super important. This is just a T-harness, just going to plug in. Your steering wheel controls go to the new stereo, and I'll show you more of that later on. But this is super important for audio. So 0708, this is going to plug into your stereo. This will plug into the harness that used to plug into the stereo. You have to make sure you make this connection from here all the way to the radio, to the aux out. So that's L out, R out. If you don't use these, you won't have audio. And you need to make sure that on your 0708 radio, when you want to play audio from here, you hit aux. This is 0406, so it doesn't have it, but your 0708 will. It's intercepting the aux connection and sending audio to the factory radio. On your 0406, it's just playing audio straight to the factory amplifier. I'm not sure why they set it up that way. It's just, it is what it is. Then for your climate information, it's pretty much the same as 0406, just your connectors change. So you're still going to have this same small connector, and then depending on whether you have navigation or don't, you're going to have just this connection or a combination of both. I wrote non-nav and nav, and I did a bunch of research, man. Honestly, I probably spent 4 hours, 5 hours, and I know that seems so silly to think about, but looking at the pinout. So I found what these are, and they make sense. These right here, these four make sense. This doesn't make any sense for this car. This doesn't have any video on the non-navigation or navigation, no video. This is compass and your freaking climate. This is what does video. Actually, it can, how do I, alright, so I did a ton of research on this, and I couldn't find which pinout they followed for these. So some of this is right. Like on this left side, if you don't have navigation, 0708, this is your climate info. If you have navigation, it's still your climate info. This one's weird. This I couldn't understand, and both of these have RCAs. So like, again, some of these pins are right, and it will work from what I understand. But none of these have video out for a camera. Like your factory navigation outputs RGB video to the factory screen. So here you're not going to have composite video or whatever they're expecting this, unless they're doing RGB over this, but there's not enough connections here for RGB. So alright guys, so we're diving into this thing. We're taking a look at the wire harnesses. Got a couple of OEM screens here. I got some on here, and I got my diagram on here. What I want to show you is, this is connector A, this is connector E. A is green, E is blue. This is beyond my understanding right now, and I think it's just wrong, but again, take it with a grain of salt. I know enough to know that something wonky is going on here, but I don't know enough to tell you exactly what they expected or which car they used. I was thinking maybe a Honda Odyssey or an Accord or something, that the pinouts are similar, the same connectors, but after doing a bunch of research, I just couldn't find what it could be. But all right, let me move on. So you're gonna plug these two in, 0708, your climate information should work, your climate buttons will work, and the information will show up on the screen. This, if you have navigation, you'll plug it in. 0406, 0708 also has the same connector. But on the 0708, if you're doing this, reach out to us. I'd like to learn more about what plugs into where and what works and doesn't, because we don't have one available to test on. But then you have your primary power connection, so like before, you're just plugging this in, and then you have your CAN bus connections. So you need to make sure that you connect your CAN bus module, so this little white box, to the right ports here. It'll only line up one way. And then the most important connection is this little one. You need to make sure this is the CAN bus information out of the CAN bus decoder into the screen. So you need to make sure that you plug this into the back of the radio, and it's going to plug in where it is now. It's just on a separate harness, because this is different than the 0406. Then we have an AHD backup camera. These are the new I wouldn't say new, but these have been around for a while, and they get real high definition video, and they're cheap. You just have to run the new camera. So I think it'd be worth it on this screen. It's a nice screen. You can keep the factory backup camera. Hopefully I can get an 0708 to show you how to do that. We have the harness, but if you don't have a backup camera, your back camera is not working, then just use this one. Then we talked about the microphone. I don't think you need it, but you can run it if you're like doing a lot of Bluetooth calling. Then your two antennas, so you have GPS antenna and your have GPS antenna and 4G antenna. You also get a SIM card. Where is that? So right here, I'm pretty sure this is a 4G slot. Haven't opened it yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what's in here. I'll cover that more in my in-depth review. I just wanted to get you the information about where I got it, how much I paid, how to hook it up. I'm going to show you in the car. We got to do some CAN bus settings. We'll talk a little bit more and I'll wrap this video up. Alright guys, so this gave me a little trouble when I first plugged it in, and it's because these were aimed too high. Sometimes when they get crimped by the machine, it crimps them at an angle. So you just want to flatten them down, and then this should slide in. If you're fighting this a lot, just fix those pins. It happens. Then here, this one's going to plug right into there. Shift this around. So your antenna is going to get plugged up here, not here, because this isn't going to do anything anymore. It just turns the factory amp on and off for some weird reason. But okay, I'm going to hook those up real quick. So that's these two connectors right here. And they just slide right in. They have the right connections. It's just plug and play at this point. And then I'm going to hook up my antenna and my other XM connection. So XM is just going to plug right in here. And then my antenna is going to be really tight. So I'm going to scoot it over and then plug it in. Okay, first boot. It's actually pretty fast since they power them at the factory. It does keep some power, so see it came right up. So now I'm going to go home and you'll get the main screen. I don't have my GPS antenna hooked up. I don't have my 4G antenna hooked up. So this does have a GPS antenna, but I'm not sure what it's meant to be used with because there is no loaded GPS application. So if I go to, where was it, Navi, it's going to tell me, hey, to pick an app. So now I choose Google Maps, and now whenever I hit Navi, it'll do Google Maps. But Google Maps you have to download to use offline. I don't know if that antenna will work with it. I'll figure all that out in my review. What I want to show you right now, something that's super important, is going to be setting this to your car. So it may be possible that the way this comes doesn't come with the proper CAN bus settings. So what you have to do is you're going to go into settings. Let me get out of here. Okay, so settings, factory 3368, confirm. You're going to come into here. You're going to come into BNR, Honda, Guangdao, and then BNR. That will set the right setting so that the climate information shows up. So you can see my temps here are right, they're changing, etc. I'm going to turn it off now, and you can see it kind of went off. If you come in here, and I think mine was set on, I forgot what it was set on, but it said Toyota. Yeah, I don't remember what mine was set on. I actually found other CAN bus settings that work and show better climate information, so I'll show you that real quick. This isn't recommended by them. I don't know if they will support this or not, but if you come here and we go to XC and you hit Honda, you can see Acura TL, you hit XC, and now this will change to this, and you get a better screen that responds. You see climate's going up and down, but the temperature is wrong. So that's up to you if you want to use this or not. I'm going to set it back to what he told me to set. Honda, there we go. Something else that this controls is if you come into here and you go hit this and then you scroll over, you go to vehicle setting. Here is this screen, which also shows your climate and your mode. So this is like out of an Acura TSX. This is like the factory navigation screen, what it looks like. So that's pretty cool too. And then if you come here and you go back to that screen, vehicle settings, you can go into base info, and history info. And then there is this screen which has a ton of information I have not messed with, but again, in my review I'll cover all that. As my GoPro died, so this is what we have right now. My steering wheel controls do work. This is the climate screen I was telling you about before. So this climate screen works and shows you your mode. It doesn't have your temperatures. For that, you're gonna get out of here. You're gonna go hit it up or down on any screen, and here you could see your temps. Then this also tells you if you have the cabin, repeating air, or if you have the AC on or off. So there's a couple quirks to this radio, but I think overall it does its job. This does not work anymore. This does not work anymore. This makes no sound. It's just here to turn the factory amp on and off. They could have easily done it with this, but I don't know why they set it up this way. It just is what it is. So now what I want to show you are some of the apps. So you do get an app store, but it's not the Play Store. Play Store is over here. And then here are your settings, your steering wheel control. If you want to map different steering wheel controls. So let me get back to that screen. So right now they're already mapped for you, so you don't have to do anything. They just work. Then you do have the radio. Make sure you hook up your antenna, and this will get AM FM radio. Mentioned it earlier, you have navigation, but there is no built-in navigation app. It's just you download an app and it lets you set the shortcuts. It's an Android screen, so it has Android features, but these are going to vary how well they work depending on what memory configuration you got. So I showed you we got the 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, and this is what you end up with. This has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. It's going to have YouTube. Those are no big things people are looking for. Again, this doesn't do anything anymore. It's just for displays. It dims and undims. These lights turn on and off. These buttons are okay. They're not perfect. Yesterday they were creaking for me, but it is what it is. This may not have been the video that you were looking for. You might have been looking for the full review. This is a first impression / installation video. It's just to give you an idea of what goes into these reviews and all the little quirks that come up, and then how all the connections go, because that's usually everyone's biggest question. Where did you get it? How much was it? How do I hook it up? So we got those out of the way. We're going to do a full review on the tablet and the screen, so make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I don't know exactly when those videos will be out or how many parts they are. I want to be fully transparent with you and let you know that I bought this with my own money, so this isn't like they paid me to review this. I'm just doing it because this is information and something that a lot of people have been waiting for a while. So I think this will be very beneficial for the viewers of our channel, and that's our mission here, to be a resource for you to help you find the accurate audio solutions for your Acura. But if you're looking at anything else, speakers, amplifiers, all that stuff, we have it. So check out our website, AcuraAudioGarage.com. The other thing I want to tell you is just a personal little anecdote or little story for you is, when we first started 4 or 5 years ago, I remember we reviewed the Tesla screen, and I remember after the Tesla screen video just getting dragged. Someone sent me a message like, hey, check out the forums, and then in the forums people were saying like, yo, this video, like, it's just so confusing, he made everything worse, I don't understand. And at the time I was frustrated. I was like, what? It wasn't confusing. But I think you have to learn from your mistakes, and if people were confused, then it was confusing. Yeah, some people may not understand everything, but you kind of have to put it in terms that people can understand. I feel like I've gotten better at that, and my whole story or lesson here is don't let other people discourage you, because who cares what those people said? I still kept going. I continued to learn. I've learned so much more. There's so many things I've done that I'm proud of. If I would have stopped then, like, imagine there'd be no, the whole Acura Audio Garage channel wouldn't exist. There's like over 100 videos of how to do stuff for your car, and it wouldn't exist if when I did the Tesla screen video and then I saw all the negative feedback people were giving me, if I would have been like, oh no, I gotta stop. No, keep going in life, do what makes you happy, and continue to learn. Don't be ignorant. If you make a mistake, own up to it. If I tell you the wrong information, I'm gonna put out a new video or update the comments or something to give you the right information. So just keep that in mind. Just do you, man, and be authentic, be yourself, and be honest. Like, anyone can spot a liar, and anyone can spot if you're trying just to sell them something, and that's what I try to avoid in this channel. I try to give you information and you make the decision on what you want to do. But I'll stop ranting. Look out for those videos. We're going to do a full review. I'll show you what it sounds like with the factory amplifier, our plug and play amplifier, and we'll talk about the audio levels. There's a ton of things we need to cover. But we'll get there one step at a time. Just make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell. All right, YouTube, thanks for watching.